I'd like to do a short video on comparing adjectives. This is probably a topic that you've used a lot. I want to give you some background information just to have a more solid foundation as we move forward in some of our grammar lessons. Last week you looked at all kind of adjectives and adding them to sentences, and it adds depth when you're writing, that sort of thing, when you can add some colorful or imaginative adjectives. But I also now want you to see, when you compare adjectives, there are a few rules that you need to have solid under your belt. The first rule is one you probably are very familiar with. You add ER to most short adjectives to compare two people, places, or things. So if you're comparing only two things, you add ER. So for example, if I said, you are faster than your brother as you run the track, then that would be adding ER. I'm comparing you and your brother. But if I compared your whole family, which would be more than two people, we add EST to the end of that. So whereas you might be faster than your brother, your uncle is the fastest runner in all of the family. So I'm comparing more than two, so I add the EST, fastest in all the family. So those are our two basic things to know when you're comparing two people or two places or two things. It's ER. And if it's more than two, it's EST. You are faster than your brother. Your uncle is the fastest of all. Because you are slower than me, but he's the slowest of all. Okay? So the trickier part comes here. For adjectives that end in an E, you drop the E before you add ER or EST. You drop the E before adding ER or EST. And my example down here is the word fine. Drop the E and add ER. And if you're comparing two things, they are finer. If you're comparing more than two, it's the finest. And so you don't have two E's there. It's F-I-N-E-R, not F-I-N-E-E-R. You've dropped that E. The next one that adds to our little trickiness is for adjectives that end in a consonant and a Y. Then you change that Y to an I. Then you add the ER or EST. So for words that end in a consonant and a Y, you change the Y to I, then add the ER or EST. My example down here is the word dry. It ends in a Y, a consonant and a Y. So I've dropped the Y, and the clothes, my shirt is drier than your shirt, but in the whole load of laundry, your mother's shirt is the driest of all. Other words that would drop the Y and add an I: ugly, uglier, and ugliest; pretty, prettier, prettiest; or curly, curlier, curliest. Again, it has a consonant and a Y, and I drop the Y and add an E. Consonant, that's the here, and drop the Y, add an I, then the ER and the EST. The last one is for one-syllable adjectives that have a single vowel before the final consonant, you double that final consonant, then you add the ER or the EST. And these are usually shorter, most of the time short vowel sounding words. My example here is red. It has a single vowel. It's one syllable, red. My chin only moves once, red. And the final consonant is doubled. So it's redder or reddest. At Valentine's Day, I had a red heart. Your heart was redder than mine, but Susie had the reddest of all. Some other example words would be fat, fatter, 2 T's, ER, fattest, big, bigger, biggest, sad, sadder, saddest, thin, thinner, thinnest. All those you would double the words. So fat would be fatter. Big would be bigger. 2 G's. So you double that consonant at the end. These are just some rules. You're going to have a little quiz online once you watch this. Thanks.